What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be making this easy, very high protein, delicious ground beef burrito. It seems like a simple recipe, and it is. We're keeping it as easy as possible for you guys, but we're going to be substituting out some normal ingredients for some healthier, higher protein alternatives that you might like even better. Let's go. All right, let's get started on everything that we're going to need for today. Starting off, we have reduced fat cheddar cheese. You can always go with the full fat Mexican blend, but I'm keeping the calories as low as possible for you guys. And we do have some pre-made mixes when it comes to seasonings. If you want to make anything from scratch, that's fine, but this is supposed to be quick and easy. So chili powder, garlic powder. We have plain Greek yogurt, Oikos high protein. We're going to be using this as a sour cream alternative, but we're also going to be turning it into a little bit of a sauce. So you'll see that later in the video. 3 avocados. We're going to make a little bit of guacamole. Of course, 2 packets of taco seasoning. And then I got this guacamole seasoning mix. It's pretty much just salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and dehydrated bell pepper. But, you know, whatever you prefer. Onion, lime, minced garlic. We have some salsa, our beef. I'm gonna be using about 3 pounds of beef. So I'm gonna be kind of meal prepping all this so I can eat it throughout the week. And we have a big thing of cilantro. Let's get started. Starting off, you're gonna take your onions, we're gonna cube them up, and then we're going to toss a little bit of olive oil right into a pan. Let that heat up a little bit, and you're only gonna toss, I'd say, about half to 3/4 of your onions into that pan. We're gonna saute these onions just to crisp them up, soften them up a little bit, and bring out that flavor before getting started on the guac. Now, make sure you leave a decent amount of onions, just enough for whatever you want in your guacamole, because the remainder of our diced onions will be going into that guacamole. For the guacamole, I ended up taking 3 whole avocados. I scooped them all into a bowl, and then I went ahead and just tossed the onion and that pre-made seasoning right into the guac. The pre-made seasoning was honestly everything that I needed for the guacamole, but feel free to use all of those individual ingredients that I mentioned that's in that pre-made seasoning at the beginning of the video. After that, everything's in there. We're gonna mix it all up. Do not forget to include some lime juice. It adds some great acidity and flavor to the guacamole. I know a lot of people do like to also put tomato and jalapeno in their guacamole. You can include that as well, but since we're also going to be putting salsa onto these burritos, I'm not worrying about adding in any extra tomatoes or anything like that. Up next, go eat a little bit of that guacamole you just made while your onions are still finishing up cooking. Once they're all done, go ahead and take them, mix them up a little bit, scoop them right into a bowl, and then we're going to take our ground beef, we're going to toss it right onto the same pan, and we're going to start cooking that down. Once that ground beef is about 90% of the way cooked, still a little bit of pink in there, we're gonna take some taco seasoning and we're gonna toss it right on top and mix it all up as it finishes cooking. I highly recommend the Siete taco seasoning. That has been my favorite recently, but of course, use whatever taco seasoning you prefer. Once you're done cooking your beef, make sure to leave that pan on the stove because we're going to be taking our burrito and tossing it right back on that pan to crisp it up. But first, we need to make our sauce that's going to be going on top. This is going to add a ton of flavor, so make sure you don't skip this step. We will take about a serving of our high protein plain Greek yogurt, toss that right into a little bowl. We're gonna do a little garlic powder, and then we're also gonna do a little bit of chili powder on top. If you have any leftover taco seasoning, I recommend putting a little bit of that in there too, just for some extra color and flavor. Finished off by the other half of that lime that we have. Mix it all together, and it is as simple as that. That's our sauce that's gonna go in the burrito. Now let's get started with making the actual burrito. Even though it was not mentioned earlier, we do have our tortilla, of course, the most important thing for a burrito. We're gonna start off by doing our sauce, then our guacamole and onions with our salsa on top, and then we're gonna do the beef after all that, followed up by a little bit of cheese and cilantro. Once you have everything on there, make sure you don't put too much so you can still roll up your burrito properly, because we're gonna roll it up, and then we're gonna take that burrito and we're gonna transfer it right over to that pan. I recommend before you start even rolling, go ahead and start preheating that pan, because you want to make sure that this burrito is nice and crispy on both sides before you go ahead and take it off and go to enjoy it.